Hello and welcome back to Northeast Nostalgic. The Sunderland Literature and Philosophical Society is back after 150 years hiatus, and I was kindly invited to the launch by Founder Auburn Langley earlier on in the week. The Lit and Phil, as it's nicknamed, was once a powerhouse of discussion where great minds would gather together to discuss the topics of the day. Even Lightbulb inventor Joseph Swan attended a lecture one evening about filaments, unlocking the ability to create the first incandescent light bulb. Inside there was books loaned by the Sunderland Aquarian Society, with elegant handwriting sharing the hot topics of the day in 1846, whilst another of the interesting artefacts showed the list of members in attendance. I wanted to capture the momentous moment of the society being back in the Athenaeum building, with crowds of people being back in the impressive Victorian lecture hall. To celebrate the rich heritage of the society and the diverse range of topics that would have been discussed in this very room, there was a talk about building community in the 21st century with speakers Kate Percival, who is the development manager at Town, and Chris Barnard, the CEO of Ousburn Trust. These discussions are going to be available as a podcast by the Society, so I only filmed a few snippets that directly referenced heritage and history, but it was really interesting to hear about subjects I don't really know about and to hear about the incredible changes in Sunderland. There was also a poem, Macam at Heart, performed by Amy Granger, the timekeeper, a tribute to the vibrant spirit of Sunderland and its people. She had a little display of curious artefacts about her ancestor, who she believes to have a connection with the original society. It was fascinating and we had a lovely little chat. I simply could not get over the incredible ceiling of the lecture hall. Apparently it was made to be from a boat or to look like a boat. And then it was time to sit and listen for the lunch.
Launch of the Lit and Phil. It has been, I would say it's been a dream for a long time, but honestly I only discovered it in the summer. So it's it's kind of happened. We've got our local poet who's going to give you a performance, and then we're going to move on to the discussion with Kate and Chris to talk about building communities in the 21st century, because you're all going to have plenty of time to have your questions heard, and we want to hear what everyone has to say about what is going on, so there's plenty of time for that, so thank you all. So, I'm a bit of a history buff, and so in the summer I saw an advert that was like, do you want to learn about history in Sunnyside? We need a researcher, we need someone to dig into everything and figure it out, and I just moved to Sunnyside. I was like, I love history, I did a history degree in Edinburgh, I should put it to use, and let's do some research. So I dug right into it, and we went back to the origins of Sunderland. We were talking the little fishing village on the Weir, where we were sifting salt and hadn't really discovered coal yet. Once the salt and coal came, the Vikings came, the St. Peter's Monastery was ransacked by Vikings. We've been through it all. We've had centuries of clinging on to this little coastal village that we've really made a home for people here. And it's fascinating, I think, when you look at the tenacity of people to really make a life here. It is hard. It is hard graft here in Sunderland. So it's been really inspiring to see what people have made of this place. What really got us excited though was the 18th century, because that's where culture started really exploding here. Sunnyside kind of broke off the banks of the Weir and started creating these beautiful buildings that we see around us. And that's kind of where we start seeing the Chartist movement. We've got people fighting for our right to vote right here in Sunnyside. They were working these streets, trying to get people motivated. We've got people making sure that the poor had provisions if they went unemployed. We've got people fighting for our education, all here in Sunnyside. And so it is an incredible place to be. And this is the home of the original Lit and Phil. They started out with a little library on Nile Street. There was no library here back then. We're talking late 1700s. And we had some somewhat educated men from around the world made their homes back here when their fathers were like, you need to come home and run the family business of the ships and the coals, and we need to get you back home. And they were like, you know what, we need library, we need culture, we need education. And they started a subscription library on Nile Street. And that grew into what we now know is the Lit and Phil here in Sunderland. And they were just the most engaged residents who wanted Sunderland to be a place people want it to be, a place people like take their place in the world. And that is the essence of what we're going to try and do here. It's not just about the past, it's about what we're doing here in the present and where we're going in the future. Because the things they were debating at that Lit and Phil, I hope you've had a chance to have a look at some of the books that we brought from the Antiquarian Society. They're incredible. And one of the things, so I actually discovered one of their discussion topics, which actually turned into its own little Lit and Phil event at the Antiquarian Society on Saturday. But it was, who was the better poet, Byron or Burns? And to us, that's probably like quite a historical conversation. That's, you know, we're talking about old poets, but to them, they were contemporaries. They were talking about recent discoveries in geology and how people understood the world. And that is what the essence of this is. It's where is our place? Where is our culture? We are having so many developments here in Sunnyside and in Sunderland, and we want to be part of that, so all people who live here get a voice to say where they want us going and how we should be engaging with that culture. And so that is what I hope our home here will be. We are a new society, as you know, this is the launch, so we are just getting on our feet. There will be memberships. We are going to try and run extra society meetings where people can discuss broader topics and really use that information to guide us as a city. So that is coming. So you'll be getting, no doubt, if you've signed up to the newsletter, you'll get more information about that as it comes on. But for now, we're focusing on these talks, and we just hope that you all enjoy tonight. Now, there is just so much amazing things going on in the city. You've seen the culture house, you've seen all these great groups. We've got writers groups, we've got book groups, we've got things happening left, right and centre. And it is that thing of how do we use that culture to build the city that we want? I think, for me, I left this city quite young. I'm from Sunderland, don't listen to the accent, I'm from Sunderland. And I moved away for a long time, and I felt like it wasn't a city I could find a home in. And I moved back just before COVID, and we were all so isolated and cut off from each other, and it was like, oh, what do I come back to? What is happening? And so over the last couple of years, I've really built these connections with people who are also engaged and want to make this a city where we're all thriving, where we all have opportunities to explore the culture that we want and to be the people we want to be. And that is what I hope we can continue doing that now. So, on that note, we have got a local poet here to give a performance. She was born and raised in Sunderland. She's a modern day philosopher, blending poetry with existential inquiry. Amy Granger has been on a journey with the title of Souls at One's Feet, a series of work exploring philosophy of hope and time. For our launch of Sunderland Literature and Philosophical Society, Amy, who also goes by the Timekeeper, has written a poem called Macam at Heart, a tribute to Sunderland and our vibrant community, combining philosophy of spirit and the city. And she invites us all to ponder, to reflect on the possibility of growth and unity and hope. So please give it up for Amy Granger.
There is a community place that extends time and space, where musings and meetings meander so fleeting, to echo the floors which you stand, where captains and captors have heard the bells from the town as it churred. The ships are coming, we Macam to task, we innovate and celebrate this glorious task, being human, in a town built to last. For Sunderland has been quite renowned for its ingenious industries, quite profound. the morals and minds that collectively bind the city you experience today. Amid the turbulence, the coal mines and disturbance, resilience, it beckons and bellows. For this city's people are heroes. It is the wisdom of elders, generations and founders that conceptualise the space which you see. The resilience formed through family. No time, it seems, has passed. Books and buildings with timestamps and savings, memories and meanings, community, feelings. There is purpose and passion in this pause, where remembrance of great ones once rose. Sir Joseph Swan gifting light, illuminating our time with a bulb to delight. There is a community that expands time and space, where musings and meetings meander so fleeting, have echoed the floors which you grace. The Greek revival of the Athenaeum building was the first in the country to see how grand a museum could be, a spectacular place that erased time and space to gift an evolved way to be. If we were to ask the walls that surround you now, the floor beneath the ground, I wonder what one may hear through the distant times of fear, through the joys and the hopes held dear. For this building is more than a building. It is a community held in feeling, where academics and reformists have pondered the pace to make this land a magnificent space. Sunderland, a town to a city with a working class honour and pride, where social mobility has no place to hide. This was the vision, where its people were encouraged to think, like the magnificent steel and ironworks that were never built to sing. There is a community place that expands time and space, where musings and meetings meander so fleeting, have echoed the floors and the halls. Amid it all, Sunderland was never a town to fall. For what keeps us great in all we create is the hearts we humanly hold. For Immaculate said, are gentle and true to compassion and hope, era to era, through and through. We weather the storms that arise, like the ships gliding the tides. Immaculate heart is where time does start, in the space where we are standing today, to honour the elders who create the literature, the culture, the art, a community that's held in your heart.
From Tard and by Chris Barnard from Founder Trust. Thank you both for being here with us tonight.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
So, should we start off with a bit kind of more introductions? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, Kate. What is it you do with Tard?
So, I work for Town as a development manager, but